That's my dog. My dog's barking. Hi guys, this is Tabiasobi, and today I'm here to talk about my new Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, Splatoon 2 Edition. Ah yes, finally. Finally. You don't even know how long it took me to get this controller. Basically, when I was first trying to get my Switch console during release, I considered getting a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, but I figured, you know what, at that time I was trying to get two Switch consoles, one for me and one for my niece, because I promised my niece as a belated Christmas present that I would try to get her one. So given the fact that I was trying to get two consoles, like trying to get a Switch Pro controller, which is what, like 70, 80 bucks, was a little bit too high, so I figured, you know what, I'm gonna get the two consoles first, concentrate on that, and then maybe I'll get the Pro controller afterward, because who knows, maybe the Joy-Cons work pretty well. I might not even need this thing. I mean, it's just a peripheral. It's not like Nintendo systems or peripherals ever sell out, right? Yeah. Oh god. Big mistake number one. So, yeah, so on the plus side, I was able to get my two consoles. I basically sat there refreshing like on Amazon and Best Buy, and I was able to get one console from each place. This thing right here. Ta-da! I really love this system. I never got quite comfortable with the Joy-Con controllers. I mean, I don't have huge hands, I don't have big hands, something I'm willing to admit. But even these kind of seem like kind of cramped and tiny, you know? And I never really gained 100% confidence in using the Joy-Cons. Making things worse was that this particular Joy-Con right here, the left one, is suffering from the dreaded Joy-Con issue. So 30-40% of the time, it'll just start wonking out. Bomberman was a bit of a pain, and the Splatoon 2 campaign was definitely unbearable when your left Joy-Con starts acting out, because then your character doesn't want to go where you want it to go. It starts walking slowly, and then even when you don't touch the controller, it does this kind of slow mosey, and Lord knows how many times I died by falling off the edge because I stopped moving and my character just does this slow walk and just falls off the edge. That combined with the fact that I never really got used to the Joy-Cons like 100%. Like, I could play games pretty well with them, but not quite with the same confidence I'd have when I'm using a regular controller. I thought, you know what? I think I should get a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. So I decided to go online, and lo and behold, it was like sold out everywhere. I'm like, oh no. It's like Amiibo all over again. Nah. This, yeah. Like, I had to order this stuff from Japan. And then these, I had to like go to the next town to get these. Of course now there's like a ton of them everywhere. If I knew that they were going to keep making these things, I wouldn't have driven 30 miles away to get them. But obviously, I'm a big Splatoon fan. It's actually one of the few shooters where I'm actually good. Like, normal first-person shooters, I'm terrible. I'll be the first to admit. I don't know if I'm just too old school or what. Like, I'm actually fine with Gears of War. Come to think of it, I guess every shooter where I see my character, I seem to do well, like Lost Planet 2. But just first-person shooters, I'm not just... not only am I not average, I'm like below average. I'm usually the person, like, last or second to last, third to last maybe, when I play those games. But Splatoon, even the original one, I have no idea, maybe it's because it has platforming elements or what have you, but I was doing really good. Like, maybe it's because there's so many children playing the game, but I usually place, like, you know, either first or second, whether I win or lose. So, yes, I really like Splatoon. But this was before Splatoon 2 obviously came out, and I was having issues, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go get a Pro controller. Lo and behold, it's sold out everywhere. And I'm like, oh my god, here we go. So I just started checking, like online was pretty much hopeless. I mean, you can get them online, but usually they're marked up so high. Yeah, so my only option was to pay a reseller or I guess a scalper, depending on how much the markup is. But when a markup reaches a certain point, like $5 more, that's fine, maybe even a little bit more than that. But when it's way more than that, then that enters scalping territory. And that's behavior I really don't want to encourage, so I make it a point not to order from people who mark stuff up way too much, because that's how they get business. And if you keep trying to support that type of practice by buying the stuff, then you're encouraging it. So I go, you know what, I'm just going to wait until we get shipments here in town where I'm at, and I'll just check the stock for the stores online. I checked Walmart was one of the stores I was checking, and it was in stock in the Walmart right next to where I worked. So I'm like, yeah, finally, I'm gonna go get my Switch Pro controller. So I'm getting ready, I'm just waiting for work to be done. And right as the work day was going on, what happens? Nintendo of Japan announces, as part of Splatoon 2's release, that they were releasing a Pro controller, like with a Splatoon like marking, you know? And I'm like, what? And people who know me, I am a sucker for special edition stuff. I don't even know how much special edition stuff I bought that I don't really need, just because it just, something in my brain makes me want this stuff. And so when that was announced, I'm like, well, I don't want to get just a regular controller now. I want to get this one. And I go, well, maybe I can get it from Japan, because the exchange rate was pretty good. And even when you factor in shipping, you might just be paying like $5-10 extra, which isn't really too bad. So I go, you know what, I'm gonna get it from Japan. I finally checked Amazon Japan. It's for sale. Actually, it might be another site, but it was on sale, and I still had a chance to get one. And right as I was about to place my order, some news breaks, and I had to go cover it because that's my job. I'm a reporter, and so I'm like, well, I mean, gotta work. That's how I pay for this stuff. So go out, cover this event, come back, and what do you know? It's sold out in Japan. And I'm like, oh god, here we go again. And so I thought, you know what, if they're releasing it in Japan, and I think the UK too got announced, I mean, there's no way they're not releasing it in the United States, right? I mean, it's one thing to release stuff in Japan. Japan gets a lot of special stuff, but if it's releasing in the UK or EU, like, it has to come out in the US as well. So the first thing I did was call my contact with Nintendo. And normally when I call this guy, he's really, really helpful and gives me information. And when I ask, hey, do you know if they'll ever release the Splatoon 2 Pro controller here in the US? And I just got this cryptic email back, which was pretty much a non-denial denial. Usually he'll talk to me normally, and this was like, we have no information to share at this time about Nintendo Switch Pro controller or Splatoon Edition or something like that. So it's, like I said, it's a non-denial denial, but actually usually that's a good thing, because it's not a straight up denial. When they deny stuff, which is something I've learned covering, like not just games, I usually cover business, and so I get this a lot from tech companies, whether it be Google or Apple. When they do non-denial denials, usually that means they're gonna do it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait till this gets announced in the US, so I don't have to pay the extra money that resellers are selling this thing for in Japan. So I waited and waited, and apparently I missed the actual release or pre-order date, because when I checked back online one day, it was all sold out again. What's going on here? So I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna go old school. And for those of you who were here in this world before the internet was a huge thing, you know what old school was. You pretty much just lined up. I mean, I guess you still do it now, but it was even more important before Amazon and all those online stores. Especially, in Japan, it was a huge deal too. It seems like every big game release or console release included lines. And so I said, I'm just gonna go to a store that's open midnight and see if I can score one of these, because I didn't even need to get the game. I already got the game. I got a review code for it, so I'm gonna go to the store. Closest one was Walmart at midnight. I mean, Target's an option usually, but it's not open 24 hours. So I said I'm gonna go to Walmart. I've had luck there before. I'm gonna go there past midnight, see if they got one of these. So I did that. Went to Walmart. Was it a Thursday night? And I had work the next day, so I couldn't stay up too long. I go there, and the only problem with Walmart is, depending on who you get, and especially during that time, they have no idea about this kind of stuff. So when I asked this lady about it, she didn't know what the heck it was. And she did a store search, couldn't find it. So I'm like, well, it's supposed to be releasing today. And usually you'll have that stuff ready in the back before the release, and then you just put it out, you know, the day of release. And usually after midnight is fine, because I've bought stuff after midnight there before. And she says, well, you know what? It might still be in the pallet. We just haven't taken it out and stocked the store. But you can come back tomorrow at 8 a.m. And I'm like, oh no. Because usually, well, first off, I don't know if I want to wake up early, but chances are if I go there by that time, it's probably going to be gone. So before I left Walmart, I decided to check my phone one more time. One of the stores I checked was Target, and lo and behold, they had stock, it says, and I could pick it up the next morning. So I went ahead, rushed and ordered it. Then I told the Walmart lady, thank you, but looks like I'll be able to get it somewhere else. Went to bed, wake up, get ready for work, getting ready to go to Target. Check my order, I get an email, this time saying, oh no, it's no longer in stock. But you can get it like next week. And I'm like, here we go again. So I'm like, and it was a bit of a bummer because I wanted to do an unboxing as early as possible. Because, you know, the longer you wait, other people do it, you don't get as much attention, YouTube. And so I'm like, well, I guess there goes that. But at the same time, I really wanted to get the controller, and that was the main thing. So I figured, you know, that's fine. Get ready. I go to Target and go to the customer service line to do a pickup, and they can't find it. So I'm like, what's going on? And they checked, and then I checked my order, and it turns out I got another email. It got pushed back again, and I'm like, oh, Goose Fraba. Oh. So at this point, I didn't even care anymore. In fact, I didn't want to feel like I wasted a trip, so I even bought this thing. I need a carrying case anyway, so yeah, I bought that just to make myself feel better. And I said I'll come back the next week. Anyway, so a week goes by. I check this time before I leave, just to be sure. And lo and behold, it gets moved one more day to Wednesday. And I'm like, I don't even know if I'm ever going to get this thing. I mean, it's like taking part at a horrible date at this point. You don't even know if you're just being strung along. So I'm like, well, I mean, I'm like, oh, okay. I'll come back Wednesday. Available for pickup Wednesday. I wake up Wednesday, check my phone. Available for pickup Wednesday, August 2. I check the date on my other phone just to be sure that this day was August 2, Wednesday. So I go there, give my name for my pickup, and the lady, who's the same lady I saw like the week or so before, was like, we don't have it. And I'm like, come on! What's going on? But, well, you know, our delivery truck hasn't arrived yet. So, it should arrive today. Did you get an email that it was already in stock? I'm like, no, I didn't get an email. I've just been looking at this order page. Well, you're supposed to get an email. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm sorry. So went to work. I decided to just forget about it at this point. I just thought, don't work, you know, if it happens, it happens, right? And right when I decided to forget about it, here comes noon, and I get a text, and it's from Target, and it says, my controller has arrived. And I'm like, hallelujah! Ooh. Praise the heavens. And so, yeah, I finally drove there. I mean, I still wasn't feeling confident at this point because everything that could go wrong has gone wrong so far. And I decided to go to Target after work, gave my name, and they're like, oh, yep, just wait here. Lady comes back, brings this out, and everybody lived happily ever after. If you want something, get it early. Although that always doesn't work for Nintendo stuff, because Lord knows. Well, I really did work for this, but I also lined up for a different amiibo when I was getting these guys, and those sold out because some guy ahead of me got like 3 copies. A Target. I mean, what? That's another pet peeve of mine. This is a Target? People lining up. It's like 1 per person, okay? And it wasn't these amiibos. I can't even remember what amiibo it was. But it was something I really wanted to get. And some guy got 3 right before me, and I was like the first guy when it ran out. So, yeah. I guess you snooze, you lose. But sometimes even when you're not snoozing, you're still losing. But, yeah. Welcome to getting Nintendo stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love my Nintendo stuff. Really love this thing, but oh boy. And yeah, and the good thing too is I can finally send this back for repair, because I haven't sent this thing for repair because I didn't want to be without a controller, and I need the controllers to review stuff that comes in. And at the same time, I guess I could have bought a replacement, but I'm not really a huge fan of the Joy-Cons as far as just accurate controls. I mean, even this, it's like, you know, it's not a D-pad, and some things you just like a D-pad is way more comfortable or easy to use than, you know, these 4 buttons. These really work horrible as D-pads. So yeah, I figured I was just gonna wait for this, send this back. Oh, finally I can send it back. Hopefully they can fix it within a couple of weeks, and I can be back to using my Switch 100%, no problems, no excuses. Good craftsman never blames his tools unless it's a left Joy-Con with a sync issue. So yeah, this is my first ever Pro Controller, so obviously there's been unboxings of the regular Pro Controller before. This is my first time seeing it. I didn't realize the box was this small. You know, I thought it was going to be a bigger box. I guess they did a really good job saving space. But yeah, so this is what the box looks like. I'm still debating whether to do an unboxing because it's kind of late at this point, but you know, what the heck, why not? thank you for staying, if you've stayed this long, listening to my sob story that isn't really important in the grand scheme of things. It's like a perfect example of a first world problem. But as always, I appreciate you guys checking the channel out. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section. Otherwise, this is tabiasobi once again saying thank you for watching and signing off.